So ended up meeting with the wife, and I was like, so this is how I start every listing appointment. So especially on an expired. So tell me about what your experience was like when you were on the market before. And I will say that sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, and they tell me all the details. Sometimes they're like, they didn't really have high expectations, and so just was no offense to the other agent. Never really does anybody say anything negative about their previous listing agent. And I never say anything negative either, but it's more or less like, what's your temperature? What's your pulse? What had you not received that you were expecting? And better question still, what did you like? Why do you think the house didn't sell? And they always have a reason why they think the house didn't sell, and you should find out. So this seller, who's very kind, very reasonable, she goes, well, they never talked about this feature and that feature and this feature. And when I tell you that the features that she says the listing agent didn't talk about were significant to the listing, they're significant. So I'm talking like the equivalent of like, I have a pool when I don't, or I don't have a pool when I do, kind of thing. I'm not going to give too much detail, but it was significant. Or like the number of garages was missing, or whatever. And so that was pretty significant. So I want to just say, we're going to end up going back on the market at the same price that it expired at. Why? Because I don't think it was price. And we uncovered that, and we talked about it. It was a collaborative effort. The husband was there as well. We just kind of chatted about it. What do you think about the price? Well, here's the price per square foot of the neighborhood, and this is where you're priced. So he was like, well, I'm not going to give it away. I'm like, good. I've never given a house away. In fact, let me show you that the data says that we're actually the highest price per square foot of any house that's listed or sold. So does that make you feel better? And I always say, does that make you feel better knowing that you're not going to give it away? And the giveaway price per square foot is this. And we were like $20 more above that. So you're good. And so the guy was like, thank you so much for explaining that to me. No one ever explained it to us like that. I'm like, I'm really sorry that you wasted 7 months on the market with nobody explaining to you market conditions, because that's actually part of our job. And so then the lady goes, well, the other girl that came to, because, I'm interviewing now because I don't want to get burned again. I'm like, no, I think you totally should. In fact, I always tell people to interview 3 people. You should interview 3 people from 3 different areas, 3 different marketing plans. Like, always recommend interviewing people. Secretly, I like that you're interviewing other people, because I am pretty confident in what I have to offer, Miss Ma'am. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, do it. Sometimes I crack myself up. Anyway, so she goes, well, the girl that came by before you, she didn't even write anything down. I was like, what do you mean? I said, did she have a market analysis to share with you? She's like, no. I'm like, and I said to her, I'm always going to have job security, because when I show up, I'm going to have a gift. I'm going to have a comparative market analysis. I'm going to have interior photos of the competition. I'm going to have the reasons why listed out, why I think the house didn't sell. I'm going to have the reasons why I think I can sell it. I'm going to have my stats of what I've sold. I'm going to have the marketing plan laid out. And then I talked about the difference between marketing and advertising. She was like, yeah, that does make sense. I'm like, yeah, marketing and advertising are not the same. Marketing is what you do to prepare for the advertising. Advertising is when you spend money and spend time and energy. Anyway, so got the listing, whoop, whoop, and we're going back on the market at the same price, and I'm so excited that it will probably sell. So, yeah, I'm blown away by agents who think that they can just go over to a house, a listing appointment, without data. What the hell? Am I wrong?